Elizabeth was filled with the Holy Spirit and exclaimed with a loud cry, "Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb. And why has this happened to me, that the mother of my Lord comes to me? For as soon as I heard the sound of your greeting, the child in my womb leapt for joy. And blessed is she who believed that there would be a fulfillment of what was spoken to her by the Lord." And Mary said, "My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Savior. For God has looked with favor on the lowliness of God's servant. Surely from now on all generations will call me blessed. For the Mighty One has done great things for me, and holy is his name. God's mercy is for those who fear him from generation to generation. He has shown strength with his arm. God has scattered the proud in the thoughts of their hearts. God has brought down the powerful from their thrones and lifted up the lowly. God has filled the hungry with good things and sent the rich away empty. God has helped his servant Israel in remembrance of God's mercy, according to the promise made to our ancestors, to Abraham and to his descendants forever." And Mary remained with her about 3 months and then returned to her home. The Gospel of the Lord. Well, I want to focus in on that line, all of those reversals that we hear echoed and repeated in this text. The one right in the middle there, which is one of the most memorable, perhaps. He has filled the hungry with good things, and he sent the rich away empty. Chris, you want to mute everybody? Thank you. So you see this reversal that Mary speaks of, the great reversal that God is always bringing about. And I just noticed that nothing is ever static, that this is the vacillation between hunger and richness, between full and empty, is not ever a permanent one. I've traveled many times to Nicaragua, which is a fascinating country. There's a Lutheran church there, the Lutheran Church of Faith and Hope in Nicaragua, where I had the honor and pleasure of being quite involved over the years. And that's a country in which a great reversal occurred back in the 1980s and 90s as the result of a civil war, in which the party that was backed by the U.S. military and was very oppressive was put down, and the rebels, and who were comprised mostly of campesinos and the poor, and lots of especially Christians from base Christian communities who were part of that effort to overthrow the oppressive regime, came into power. And now, many years later, Daniel Ortega, who came into power at that time and heralded an era of justice and greater prosperity and freedom for the poor in Nicaragua. Now, of course, the reversal has happened again, and he has become one of the rich, who I believe will one day also be sent packing. And that's just the way of things in countries, and it happens. I believe it's the way of things in our lives too, that we're never permanently full or permanently empty, but God is always working in us, even through the hungers that we feel, to draw us closer to God and to love for our neighbor. So some questions for reflection as we go into a small group. First of all, what food are you looking forward to eating this Christmas? There's a whole bunch of them for me, but I promise to only pick one. So what food are you most looking forward to? And then what else are you hungering for this season? And what, if anything, do you see coming that may fill that hunger? So for your stomach, what food are you looking forward to eating this Christmas? And then what else are you hungering for these days? And what are you hoping for that might fill that? So Chris, why don't we go into small groups, and you can put us into groups of 4, and why don't we spend about, I don't know, 7 minutes in small groups should be about right. We like looking at you, but we don't want to see your image suddenly roll over several times and, all of that.
I understand. I'm on the road you probably take quite often, Bill. Highway 10 between Moorhead and TL.
If I get in my car and I'm not thinking, I'll often find myself in the halfway to Moorhead on that road, and before I realize I was actually going somewhere else. It's where my brain and my car want to go all the time.
Yeah.
Well, we're all back, so I want to thank you all for being with us here today. Thanks for your work, especially in this season, when I know that you're doing double duty to make Christmas a special and memorable celebration for everyone, and it means a lot of extra work for you. So thanks for all your good work. Hey, we're blessed to have folks from Calvary Church in Alexandria today. Hans Dahl and John Dahl are here to speak about the Calvary Partner Network, which is a way for congregations to increase their vitality, and it's this way we're especially imagining we might work with congregations where there's a synodically authorized minister, both to provide support and possibly even digital tools for worship and for other needs of the congregation. But it's also a resource to you in your ministry if you choose to partner in this way. So I'm going to turn it over to Hans and to John and let them share with you about the Calvary Partner Network.
Awesome. Thanks for the invitation, Bill. I really, really appreciate it. And I want to concur with you. This is a really hard, heavy time of ministry. And, you think about all that's transpired over the last year and a half and all that we've endured as a church. And so thank you for your leadership. I know you've endured a lot over the last year and a half. So our theme at Calvary this Advent is "A Weary World Rejoices," and we found that that's resonated so well with our people. But I think we all can agree that the last year and a half has made us all weary at times. So thanks for your hard work. Hey, we want to tell you a little bit about what's going on at Calvary, and really the gist of what we want to share with you is we want to be a resource to you. We simply want to help other churches thrive. And I think to get at what we're doing at Calvary through what we're calling the Calvary Partner Network is just to tell a little bit of a story of where Calvary has been. For those of you who maybe don't know where we're in Alexandria, Minnesota, so right in the middle of the state here on the far eastern side of the synod. And a few years ago, a church west of us, West Mo Lutheran Church, a small church, approached us, and they were too small to really find their own pastor. And they didn't know what to do. They had really great leaders, vibrant leaders who were committed to their church, but they knew they were too small to get a pastor. And so they reached out to us here at Calvary and asked, would you help us? And so we began a conversation with that church and got our leadership involved here at Calvary. And lo and behold, we developed a partnership between Calvary and this church west of us. And the partnership, we had the privilege of having an intern that helped us navigate all of this. But really what it was is we developed a partnership in which we as Calvary want to share with West Mo some of the things that we are already doing in order to help them thrive. They don't have the resources to bring on a pastor. And so we provide sermons for them on Sundays. They also have an intern that provides some worship leadership. We provide Sunday school curriculum for them. We provide adult education curriculum. We simply reproduce some of the things we're already doing at Calvary. And this partnership has been going on through COVID. And lo and behold, as all the churches have opened up now, that congregation is seeing incredible growth. They've seen all kinds of vitality as we've walked alongside them. Their worship attendance has tripled, and they're just seeing a new sort of energy and a new life. Well, along the way in conversation with Bill and some of the Synod staff, there have been some other churches that have approached us interested in how is it that we could expand this partnership to walk alongside other congregations. And our congregation, we paused to ask the question, is this something we want to do on a broad scale? We knew we needed some resources in order to make this happen. And so we had some members who got around a table, and we developed a proposal to the Eli Lilly Foundation, and they awarded us a significant grant to develop a network of congregations that understand that working together, we're stronger together. That working in an intimate sort of small network of congregations who are sharing resources, we can do more than we can do alone. And the unique thing about this day and age is we're not bound by geography anymore. And so as a church here in Alexandria that's been blessed with just great support, great resources, we have seen it as our mission as a church to simply share with others and work together with other congregations in order to see them thrive as well. And so we've developed this kind of partnership network, and there are really two parts to it. The first part is simply resources that we want to provide, resources that we're blessed to either have or be creating on a weekly basis, resources that we simply want to give away. And we call the kind of resource portal that we have online the open network. And through that, we simply share resources that we're already using here at Calvary. So, for example, we have congregations that are using Sunday school curriculum that we create. I know for all of you, finding that for the youngsters in your congregation can be difficult. And often when you find it, you have to sort of rewrite it and do all these kinds of things. We just simply give away what we do for free. There's also adult small group curriculum. For churches that maybe are in a season without a pastor, or maybe they have a pastor who wants a Sunday off, or maybe a Sam who wants a Sunday off, we provide video sermons for congregations to use in those sorts of instances. Westmo uses those almost every week out there. So we want to provide resources to help other congregations thrive. So we call that the open network. We simply give those things away. And if you were to go out to calvarypartners.org, you can just simply check out those resources that are provided there. But what we are most excited about is what we've, again, called the partner network. And John, can you, do you have permission to put up a document there? Okay, if you could put up the partner document there. We have a document that we've created that kind of explains what the partner network is all about. Here's what you already know. Doing ministry alone is just way too hard. We're all strapped thin. We're all feeling kind of stretched by some of the challenges over the last couple of years. And I think COVID has exacerbated some of the issues that we're facing before. So what we want to do is think about a different model of being church together. And that's what we call the Calvary Partner Network. So what is the Calvary Partner Network? Calvary Partner Network is an intimate network of congregations eager for new life, vitality, and a greater sense of mission and vision. It's built on the idea that we all know is true, that we are better together. Together, we want to support each other. We want to inspire one another, learn from each other, innovate, and ultimately advance God's mission for the church, which is to lead all people to a lifelong faith in Jesus Christ. So as we think about bringing together congregations in this intimate network, there are three things we would love to help congregations do that bring about sort of an environment where congregations thrive. The first is clarity. What we have found is when churches have clarity about their context, about who's part of their church, then they can gain clarity about what God is calling them to do. And so we must know who we really are and who our neighbors are before we can discern where we're going. The second thing the partner network wants to do is we want to help congregations gain a sense of vitality. And we believe that things like radical hospitality, passionate worship, risk-taking mission, those are all sort of practices of vitality. And so the third thing, and maybe this is the hardest one for some of us that call ourselves Lutheran, is adaptability. We want to help congregations develop a sense of adapting to the 21st century and the tools, technologies, the things needed to really reach people in this day and age. So those are the three things we hope to help congregations do through the partner network. And just to get to kind of brass tacks, what do partners get who jump on board with us and say, we want to walk with you? So first, couple times a year, we gather congregations in intimate gatherings here at the church. Gather together to eat together, to have recreation together, but also to have a time of learning as congregations. And the three areas again where we're going to work on is clarity, vitality, and adaptability. The second thing we want to help congregations, the way we want to help congregations is through what we call coaching. And maybe it's consulting, but it's walking along congregations when you get in that bind and you don't know where to turn. I think all of us have been in situations where we face a challenge and we don't quite know where to turn. And sometimes wrestling with issues with members of our church or our council can be kind of sticky sometimes. And so we want to be a sounding board. We want to be safe partners to help you navigate some of those struggles, whether that be helping out with technology, kids ministry, adult ministry, what it means to reach out in your community. We want to build an intimate network of congregations that are doing that together. The third thing we do is to offer monthly webinars. And so we've done monthly webinars on everything from how to get ready for Christmas to how do we create a more welcoming environment in our congregations to what's the future of children's ministry. And we provide kind of speakers from all over the country that we've been fortunate enough to network who provide some expertise, and then we have conversation about those online. And then the third or the fourth piece that Calvary Partners get is what I talked about already. It's this resource website that we've created, and I want to kind of encourage all of you to check that out. Take a minute to go out there and poke around and see what you see. But it has everything from sermon series outlines to video messages. We provided congregations with VBS curriculum, Sunday school curriculum, music, all those kind of social media tools, and we just simply give those things away for free. So that is there are two pieces to this. It's the open network, which is just simply resources we offer online, but then there's the partner network. And that's what this sort of intimate circle of congregations we want to create is all about. So John, if you scroll up a little bit, scroll down. There we go. So what do partners give? And here's what we look for is a commitment on the part of congregations. Really three things. Number one is just time. We ask congregations who want to join the network that they give a minimum of 2 years of commitment to the network, because a sort of transformation that I think all of our congregations need, it takes time. Building relationships takes time. The second thing we ask congregations to do is to invest people in the network. And so that means a congregational leadership team of up to 3 to 5 people who would be a part of helping drive the transformation in your congregation. And then also, finally, we ask for a financial commitment. We want to make this a sustainable network of congregations. And so you can see for the initial first 2 years, we ask congregations to make an initial commitment. And then beyond that, as congregations discern whether or not this is something they want to jump on board for over the long haul, we renegotiate that. When it comes down to it, what the network is interested in is helping us create a sustainable model. For those of you that are maybe SAMs or you're part-time in a church setting, you know how overwhelming ministry can be. And I think there are so many expectations nowadays that our congregation members have on us. And so what we, in essence, want to do with the network is to share what we've been blessed with, and then also to create a network of congregations that can connect regularly for support. And we as a church here at Calvary want to be a resource to congregations. There are just way too many items that we're expected, way too many pieces of ministry that we're expected to do. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting. And so we simply want to be a resource. We want to share what God has blessed us with. So that's a little bit about the partner network. I would love to share more or take any questions. I'm not sure exactly how to do this in this format, but would love, our phone number is down at the bottom, as well as email. And then you can also go out to the calvarypartners.org and find a lot of information out there. So I'd be open to answer any questions if you want to put those in the chat, or simply answer any questions you might have offline.
Thank you, Pastor Hans, and thank you, John. This is your chance, folks. If you've got some questions you'd like to ask now, or if you come up with some later, you can certainly reach out to Hans or John. But any questions regarding the Calvary Partner Network opportunity? Okay. Well, thank you. Good to hear from you as always, Pastor John. Let's see, what's next? So it's that time of year, December, and that means also, in addition to all of the things that we're doing for Advent and Christmas, also year-end matters. And so a mailing is going out this week, a snail mail package with all of the year-end materials. And there's also a website or a page on our website that has links. Chris is bringing that up now. So let's see, can you make that? I suppose you can't make it bigger, I suppose, but you'll see what we're really needing to hear from you is especially around who your leaders will be once they're elected. And I know for some of you, especially those of you in Lakes Country or way up north, maybe you've already held your annual congregational meeting, but most of you are still in a pattern of doing it after the first of the year, and so hence the timing of this mailing. And so but we would love to hear from you. We want to know who's been elected into leadership so that we can communicate with them appropriately. And also we occasionally get a message that goes like this: you know, I haven't been the president there since 1992. Could you please update your mailing list? So we need your help to do that. And it's getting better, by the way. We've started working at that right away. And so that list of leaders is better, but we need that. Of course, your annual response around mission support and your statement of intent for that is really helpful to us as we go into the new year, we revise the budget that you approved at the Synod Assembly. We revise that to reflect what you tell us regarding the decisions that have been made around mission support. And so that is very helpful. Then there's lots of information there. There's a report from me, a written one that I hope you'll include and share with your congregation widely. I will also today be recording a PowerPoint that'll have me talking in a little box in the corner. We're going to try out that technology and see how that works. Bishop in a box, I guess you could call it. And you can hopefully show that to your congregation during the congregational meeting. It'll be all of about 5 minutes long, or even a little less than that. It's just 9 slides, so we'll talk it through pretty fast. And then also, you could also use it at during a coffee hour with your council, but some different ways that you might use that annual report. What else, Chris? You're muted.
I hit the wrong thing. There is the annual meeting tip sheet. Here is a save the dates. And I'll click on that in a second. And just today I updated the staff page with all our new people and their bios. So that check that out. You'll be meeting a lot of people today that you may already know, but you'll be hearing what they do. And so then there's this save the date. So it talks about our Zooms that we have. And then down here, the Great Synod get together and virtual Synod Assembly. Those are the big things.
Thank you. All right, any questions about the mailing or about the communication? We should call it a communication, I guess, because most of it's digital, but you get the snail mail because we know some people like to hold that stuff in their greedy little hands. Mm-hmm. And so you'll get to do that too. Yeah. Great. All right, let's shift gears. We had a very successful Give to the Max Day. And so I want to thank you for all that you did to help make that successful. Because of that, we will be able to launch our 4 initiatives that are part of supporting our strategic plan. We'll be able to launch 5 Smooth Stones, which is a leadership formation process for both rostered ministers and lay leaders that involves spiritual practice and authentically sharing our faith when we're giving an account of the hope that's within us when we haven't prepared a sermon or a Bible study. Adaptive leadership, how to find a way forward when there's not a map and the territory is uncharted. Emotional intelligence, how to respond appropriately and use our emotion in a way that is helpful in leadership, and coaching. So that's all part of the leadership formation that we're imagining through 5 more Smooth Stones. The Jeremiah 29 cohorts, which are cohorts of both new and seasoned leaders who will learn things around entrepreneurship, community organizing, all with the goal of entering into a new call or into their communities with the same mindset that Jeremiah calls upon the exiles to Babylon, to work for the good of the city in which you've been placed. How can we be a church that understands itself like our churches initially understood themselves, as places that were there to work for the good of the neighborhood and the city where we're placed. We're proclaiming the gospel and the good news, and we're loving our neighbor, but how can we live that out concretely in concrete ways that actually make life better in this community, and that go beyond just kind of handing out groceries, but that also really make life better for people in our community. The Go For It grants, which will be congregations, grants that congregations can apply for. after they've gone through a leadership and vitality development program, like our Practicing Resurrection and other opportunities, perhaps like the Calvary Network too. And then our seminary debt reduction, of course, that makes it possible for leaders to serve where they are for longer and to accept calls in places that they might not otherwise be able to accept. And so those are some of the things that'll be made possible by your generosity through Give to the Max. So thanks for that. And we'll be raising dollars around those same 4 initiatives for Giving Hearts Day. And we do have another $25,000 matching gift from the Offutt Family Foundation to make that possible. We want to make sure we meet that match. So your help to do that is greatly appreciated. So thank you for helping make Give to the Max successful. And then I wanted to lift up that we are going to provide some worship opportunities, some digital worship services and resources for upcoming dates. And I'll let Chris talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, if you haven't been wooed by Pastor Rebel, our new DEM, just give her a chance and you will be wooed. And she will be providing a sermon manuscript, and we'll make it audio and video and all the things for you for December 26th. It will be in the Northern Lights on the 22nd, or it'll be ready before then, so look for a banner, but by the 22nd for sure. And then there will be a sermon for the Sunday before Giving Hearts Day by Bishop Bill, and we'll provide other worship resources for that day. So December 26th and February 6th are the next 2 times that we'll have sermons available. I probably won't have worship resources for the 26th, but then go tell it on the mountain and you'll be good. And so, yeah, that's that. Bishop Bill, why don't you introduce the new staff or all the staff?
Why don't we do the save the dates real quick, and then I'll do that.
Yeah, so a couple of things just to be clear. So if you've already had your annual meeting and you've picked your voting members for Synod Assembly, Synod Assembly is virtual again, Saturday, May 21st. There'll be an orientation the night before, that Friday, May 20th, just to practice and run through things. And then that Monday, I think it's the 15th and 16th, we'll do informational meetings like we did last year around the resolutions and the budget and answer questions. That seemed to go really well this last year for people to be able to ask things and be prepared for Synod Assembly. And we're asking that your voting members attend the Great Synod Get-Together, which will be Saturday, March 12th in Detroit Lakes. And I'm so excited about this event. I am excited to be with you, to worship with you. We'll have our conference meetings there, all 8 of them. And so it's going to be a fun puzzle for me to figure out, but we'll be worshiping at First Lutheran in downtown Detroit Lakes. And then we'll have workshops, lunch, and conference meetings between First Lutheran, Grace, and Trinity. And so I'm going to figure out how to feed y'all and get you in the right places. But I love a good challenge. It keeps me on my toes. So the intended audience for that is all of you, rostered ministers and SAMs, your voting members for Synod Assembly, and council presidents and treasurers. We will have special workshops geared towards them. So mark your calendar, be there. It will be good. And yeah. And I see a note, Giving Hearts Day is Thursday, February 10th this year. So the Giving Hearts Sunday is the Sunday before. Yeah, I think,
And then also the anti-racism training, which will be February 3rd through 5th. This is the training for the trainers, the train the trainer. We would love to train a cohort of about 20 to 25 leaders from our synod who will be equipped to work in teams with each other to provide this training to all of our leaders and any other interested leaders, all of our rostered leaders and any other interested lay leaders across our synod. So that's February 3rd through 5th at Shooting Star Casino. I hope that you'll think and pray about being a part of that important effort of our synod to combat racism in our midst. Really looking forward to working with our two trainers, Dr. Joyce Caldwell and Reverend Marilyn Miller, who have been working with our Commission on Racial Equity over the last year and a half. And they will be the ones that are there in person to train our group of trainers. So a little bit more, that's February 3rd through 5th at Shooting Star Casino, and all expenses are covered for that, except for travel. But even if the travel expense, if it were somehow prohibitive, let us know and we'll find a way to get you reimbursed for travel as well. So just a little bit more on the March 12th and Synod, on the Great Synod Get Together and Synod Assembly. We really see these two events as working in concert with each other. What we've effectively done is taken Synod Assembly and split it into two individual days. Synod Assembly will be very focused on business of the assembly. We will still have a keynote, but that person will speak just one time instead of twice. We will not have a lot of the filler material and workshops. Instead, we'll get right down to business, and it'll be a relatively short day. And also, I think it will be inspiring as well, because we'll have inspiring opening worship and we'll have our keynote. And so that'll be probably starting at 9 and finishing before 3 o'clock on Saturday. And then on March 12th, this is our opportunity to actually be together in person, our chance to worship together for the first time in many, many months as a synod, and our opportunity to engage leaders face-to-face with resourcing. For this first one, we're just imagining that it would be elected leaders in the congregation. So your voting members to the assembly and your executive members of the council. We will have workshops and breakouts for them. We're hoping that this may help make those conference assemblies more generative and engaging by having a large group gathering and then splitting out into small groups and coming back and reporting to one another, that it might become more than what it is in some cases, which is a perfunctory gathering in order to get some people elected that need to be elected for Synod Assembly. We'd like to have it become more generative and meaningful than that. And we think that creating a large group, kind of a vibe and a buzz, could be a way to do that too. So the total cost of these events, of these two events together, will not exceed the total cost of Synod Assembly when we were doing Synod Assembly all in person and over the course of 3 days. You know, this isn't this is something we're trying. It doesn't mean that we'll never be together face-to-face for Synod Assembly again, or that we'll always have virtual meetings for assemblies, but we did so well last year. We wanted to take what we learned and apply it to this year. And so we are going to do one more virtual assembly and complement it with the Great Synod Get Together, which we hope will be a great experience for your leaders. Questions about that? All right, so I am so pleased and excited to be able to introduce our Synod staff, and especially our new staff members who are here today. We had our all staff retreat in person for the first time in a long time just last Friday. We learned about each other's strengths through the Strength Finders and set some goals for the next 3, 6, and 12 months into the future. And what a fantastic team. I just feel honored and privileged to be working with these folks. So I see, I can see Janelle Netland there, and she's hanging out with Joan Muehlebrook there in Bemidji right now. And I see the Christmas tree in the background, which is way cool. So why don't you two talk a little bit about what you do and who you are and where you're at?
Awesome. Thanks, Bishop Bill. Janelle Netland, I am the new Carla Mickelson, and actually we are the new Carla Mickelson. We had to have two people to replace what she's doing. We are both deployed, working over on the other side of the synod, so we can represent and be physically present for some of our faith communities on this side of the synod. So we'll be working remotely out of our home offices and often working together to get some work done. We're going to be in the synod staff once a week. We've committed to that for a while. Actually, we've been spending more time over there learning our jobs, but we will be over there. We have direct phone lines, which we will get out to all of you on our cell phones so that you can reach either one of us whenever you need. So some of the things that are on my plate are call process. So I'm working with congregations and rostered leaders and doing kind of matchmaking and imagining in context where gifts can be used, preparing congregations for great rostered leaders and things like that. So we are trying to get the call process down to a 10-step, easy peasy, user-friendly process. And it'll be all digital, obviously everything in paper too, along with some videos and things like that, but hopefully will be very user-friendly to both lay people and to rostered leaders. So your feedback is so appreciated. Anyone would like to look on or see with us. Constitutions, conflict, I call them pre-health conversations that we have with congregations, our faith communities, as well as working with this great staff and trying to bring out their strengths so we can serve our neighbors well. So Janelle Netland, I can't remember my title. It's very long, but I'm pleased to be with you.
And I'm Joan Muehlebrook. I am the right hand of Pastor Janelle, as we are working as a team, but my title is Financial and Data System Specialist. So not only do I support Pastor Janelle, I will also be supporting the synod in taking care of some of the financial end and some of the other down on the ground, whatever type things that are needed over there to hopefully relieve some things that the other staff has had to inherit. So we're moving things a little bit here and there to help Chris and Cheryl as we merge all of our duties into a team. So that's me. I'm hanging out over here in Bemidji with Pastor Janelle, and you can see the Christmas tree. You can also see my undone fireplace in the background.
Things to do.
So, all right.
Thank you. And so Joan is our financial and data systems specialist, which very well describes what she does. If it has something to do with data or a form or information, reach out to Joan. If it's got something to do with call process or conflict or constitutions, reach out to Janelle, our associate for administration. Also, this new staffing structure will allow the person in that associate role to, which is Pastor Janelle, to be more out and about and more engaged. And so we're glad that that's possible, because that's a real gift. I'm really excited to introduce Pastor Rebel Hurd, who many of you have already met because she's been moving around a lot since she arrived on November 15th. Pastor Rebel, our new director for Evangelical Mission. I'll let you.
Hello, everyone. It is so good to be with you. If I have not yet met you, oh, I will as soon as possible. And I pray and I hope that if God's Holy Spirit is pushing you to somewhere that you were just like, oh, it's a great ministry idea, but I'm not so sure about that, I'm the gal to call. Okay, so just give me a call and we'll talk it through, we'll walk it through, we'll pray it through, all of those things, and we'll just see what God is up to in whatever it is, whether it's something that you come across, something in your congregation, something that you hear at the grocery store. It doesn't matter what it is. It's said probably for a reason. I have been here for almost a month, and I haven't gotten to as many places as I hope, but I will continue to do that. We purchased a house here in Moorhead, so I am 6 minutes from the office, which is extremely helpful, as we have a little puppy who's going through a bit of anxiety because my husband has been home with her since she, came to our family, and now he's back out on the road working and she's throwing a little bit of a fit. So I just flew in for this meeting because I had to clean up throw up in her kennel, which is too much information, but this is just how you're going to get to know me. So what is it that I do? I do all the ministry starts and the walking with you in all of those ways that maybe look difficult, maybe have you questioning what it is that you're up to and what it is that your congregation is going to do next. Any of those vitality, strategy ideas. Strategy is my number one strength, by the way. Woo was like 3. It wasn't even number 1. And positive was 5. So that's what you're getting. I can't remember the other stuff. Stewardship, mission support, any of those things. Just call me for whatever. Call me just to have coffee. Okay. I want to get to know you. I want to walk in this life with you. I want to get to know your congregations. It's a lot of people to get to know, but that is my goal. So God bless you. Thank you for your amazing work.
Yeah, I don't think Rebel's dance card for Sunday mornings or Janelle's is full yet. Not that we want to fill it up right away, but just saying. And also, thank you, Rebel. Want to introduce Pastor Dennis Preston. He is our new Minister for Community and Leader Engagement in Conferences 7 and 8. Pastor Dennis.
Yes, hello, everyone. Was very surprised to be invited into this role and very much enjoying learning my responsibilities and working with the Synod staff, just a great staff to be a part of. And I'm living in Alexandria, and so then not too far from Fergus Falls. And looking forward, I know the Alexandria conference some, but looking forward to getting more acquainted in Fergus Falls. I'll be walking with call committees and congregations in the call process, and then seek to be there supportive and listening to pastors and congregational leaders in the Southern conferences there. So thank you. Look forward to continuing to work with you all.
Thanks, Pastor Dennis. And if you want to know where you can get a really beautiful sweater like the one Dennis is wearing, you can't, because it was handmade for him by his lovely bride. So, right? Am I right?
That is correct. That is correct.
So, Kathy Levenhagen has been with us since we first started in this role together on staff, but she has some new responsibilities as well. So I'll let her talk a little bit about that.
Yes, I have picked up Conference 3 in addition to 1 and 2 that I had previously. The SAM program, pretty much in its entirety now, is kind of under my umbrella of things I tend to. So I want to keep touch with them and be in contact with them and their mentors in churches, just being able to check in with them and see if they have concerns. And I think that's pretty much it, which doesn't sound like much, but keeps my days full. So there you go.
3 conferences is a lot. And then also, Kathy's also, it's kind of an internal, watching the sausage made being kind of thing, but she also monitors the mobility database for new rostered minister profiles that are posted that either have listed our synod or maybe even a nearby synod and could be persuaded to come to Northwestern Minnesota because it's so awesome here. So Pastor John Olson, whose duties have not changed, but who is our minister for vocations, I'm going to invite you to say a little bit, John.
All right, thanks everyone. Good to see you, John Olson. I live between Fergus Falls and Pelican Rapids, and I work with candidacy and first call. And just one little change that has occurred recently is that Carla Mickelson used to take care of the paperwork for candidacy, and she will no longer be doing that, obviously, since she retired. So Cheryl Zay is the one who is working with the paperwork around candidacy. So as we have folks coming into entrance for candidacy, that kind of thing, Cheryl Zay will be the one who will be a significant contact for anyone in candidacy, especially those in entrance. I also work with First Call. There's a number of First Call pastors around the screen. Good to see you. And I coordinate with the colleague group leaders. We have 3 of them in Northwest: Jerry Lanus in Alexandria, Ron Gladen in Bemidji, and Mary Sumala Folkerts in Moorhead. Outstanding mentors for our First Call rostered leaders. So privileged to be a part of the staff, and thanks everyone for the way you support our rostered leaders. And anyone interested in candidacy, pass their names along to me. I'd be glad to reach out to them and help them in the discernment process. Thanks.
Thanks, Pastor John. We have 2 staff that aren't on the call. Of course, you know Cheryl Zay. She's our office manager, and she will be the person that answers the phone when you call the office number. She provides hospitality and makes our office a welcoming place. She handles all the receivables, so contributions, lots of new paperwork now, responsibilities with candidacy, and that's a really important addition to her role. And then she also has picked up the background check requirements under Minnesota state law, which can be quite onerous as you track down every single past employer to get reports from them. And she just does a great job with that, and she's an amazing partner. Also, a non-stipendiary called person on our staff is Pastor Aaron Sumala Folkerts, Reverend Dr. Aaron Sumala Folkerts. He teaches and runs our program for boundaries training. He can also be available to you if you're navigating difficult transitions or challenges, or have questions related to mental health and wellness. I would invite you, though, to reach out to him through me or Janelle or Pastor Rebel, one of us who are full-time, just because he is non-stipendiary. That means we don't pay him. He earns his living through his work as a college professor, and also as a police chaplain. And I don't want him to become overwhelmed with stuff from additional work over and above the boundaries training. But he has indicated that he wants to be available as well. So we can help you get hooked up with Pastor Aaron if you have those kinds of needs or questions around that. Super passionate about it, and he will be happy to assist you. But I would just ask that you do that outreach through me or Janelle or Rebel, one of us who does get compensated for the work that we do. So any final questions before we wrap up?
I just wanted to show you one quick thing so you didn't have to take notes about everything. On our Synod page, we have bullet points now on the main things under each of our umbrellas. So like if you are wondering about who to reach out to for something, you could do that then. I didn't put bullet points under Bishop Bills because it's like all the things. So that is added now to the page.
Thank you. Pastor Rebel, would you be willing to pray us out?
Absolutely. Let us pray. Dear Holy God, thank you for each and every leader here today. Thank you for all that they have thought about from the moment that they wake up until the moment that they rest their eyes tonight. Be with them, guide them, love them, encourage them, remind them whose they are. Remind them of all the good that you send them out to do this world, and most importantly, remind them of their call to share your good news and to love their neighbor. We ask that you be with them, encourage them, and give them all that they need to get through this season of Advent that is exhausting for them. And yet that moment where that one person might show up in a pew that hasn't stepped in a church for years and years, let them think of that as they light the candles and look out upon their congregation. Be with them each and every step of this. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, everyone, and blessed Christmas, and we'll see you sometime in Epiphany, probably.